Good morning. New lesson with Mr. Cranier, solving absolute value equations. It's benchmark number 5. I can solve absolute value equations. Well, here's the first example, pretty much the definition of an absolute value equation. Absolute value of x equals 5. What are the possible values of x? Now, as we know, absolute value is the distance between 0 and that number. But what are the possible answers you can get that can equal 5? The first one is obviously 5 is 5. Now, and the other answer is negative 5, the absolute value of negative 5. The distance between negative 5 and 0 is 5. So we have two possible answers, 5 and negative 5. And let's take this step one step further. To solve an absolute value equation. So now this is your problem set. An equation, some value times x plus some other value. Absolute value of that equals c, which is another value. So in this case, you need to remember that your c value has to be positive. In order to solve an absolute value equation, you have to set up two new equations, and then you have to solve each equation like you would always solve an equation. Your setup looks something like this. The absolute value signs will pretty much go away. You have that ax plus b equals c, which is the positive c, and the other setup is ax plus b equals the negative c. And you'll solve for x on both of those equations. Again, when you are setting up the two new equations, you have to get the absolute value by itself. So you split them and solve them. Now this is good equation, good absolute value equation. So it's the absolute value of 6x minus 3 equals 15. Now you need to keep in mind that this c value has to always be positive. If it's negative, you cannot do the absolute value. So 6x minus 3, absolute value of that equals 15. Now there's nothing you could separate here, so just bring down the 6x minus 3 is 15, and the 6x minus 3 equals negative 15. In this case, solve both equations. Again, both the equations you have to solve for x. So add 3 on both sides. On the left side, 15 plus 3 is 18. And on the right side, negative 15 plus 3 is negative 12. Solve for x. Divide both sides by 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. I would highly advise and recommend you guys to plug your answers in to make sure those are the solutions. You take the 3, plug it into the 6, to the x here. 6 times 3 is 18, 18 minus 3, absolute value of that is 15. So that checks out, this is a good answer. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12, minus 3 is negative 15, absolute value negative 15 is 15. Good job. Let's move on to the next example. In this case, we have 2x plus 7. Absolute value is negative. Absolute value of that minus 3 equals 8. So in this particular case, let's get the absolute value by itself. Let's add 3 to both sides. So 8 plus 3 is 11. Now you have the absolute value by itself. Set up your two parts. 2x plus 7 equals 11. 2x plus 7 is negative 11. That c value has to be positive. So it's 11 is negative. Minus 7 from both sides. 11 minus 7 is 4. Minus 7 from both sides. 18. Divide both sides by 2. Remember, check your solutions. If those solutions are good, you have now just solved absolute value equations. forget to do your classroom work, do your homework. If you have any questions, please allow me to help. See you for the next lesson. Bye.